Star Trek Prodigy, Season 1, Episode 5 review.
I'm glad she finally joined the good side.
Well, it was
Yeah.
at this point it was
Well,
a matter
I
of
mean,
time.
and not only that, but like she is not inherently evil.
Oh
she
yeah.
was already on the good side. She just didn't know what the good side was.
Well, and she thought her
Because
father cared.
she was exactly. She thought her dad cared about her and that he wanted, that what he was doing was for the best, was for her good and for the good of everyone. Maybe not the slave kids, but
Well,
and
he could have
then
spun that. Well,
she
I take in
realized
all these unwanted and give them someplace with
exactly.
food and purpose.
Exactly.
And so,
And so she sees him as a carer, and then she realizes he doesn't care. All he wants is that stupid ship. And these people came back to save me, risking their own life.
yeah, because they could
So
have taken off, and
yeah, they could have just left her
yeah, because she betrayed them. Like, as far as they're concerned,
multiple times.
yeah, she stabbed them in the back. It's like they've been, yeah, they've kept her locked away, but they could have dumped her on the nearest rock and just left her if they wanted to, or whatever,
And she has that friendship with Dal already from when he was a slave boy.
yeah.
That
But there was that
like
separation between them because of the different class they were in. She was in,
yeah.
she was up here and he was down there, and so they couldn't ever really, even if they had a friendship, it was always, there was always that wall there. But now,
Yeah.
without that wall there of class sort of breaking them
Now that
apart,
they're alone together, well, alone as a group,
yeah,
they're free from her father's influence. They can become closer friends, and they actually have that connection already established.
yeah,
And she's like, okay, he obviously cares about me. These guys obviously care about me. Rock Talk was willing to practically carry me because I broke my leg.
yeah,
My dad just literally abandoned me for a ship.
yeah.
Which turned out to be fake, which makes it even hilarious. It's like, Dad, you betrayed me for something that's not even there. Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah, and so them coming for her, like, and she moves pretty well for somebody with a broken leg.
Well, yeah, even if it's splinted, like, damn.
Yeah, she moves pretty well for somebody who's got a broken leg. Like, I don't think you'd be able to do that. I think you probably should have taken Rock Talk up on her offer.
Yeah.
I think you would have been in better shape.
Even with that.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, we don't know what species she is. Maybe they heal faster, or maybe they're just, made of
Well,
sturdy stuff.
yeah, bones are less important in their
Yeah.
physiology, and so they have some sort of other structural bit to them that
Well,
helps.
she did have the structural bit of her thing, her
Yeah,
leg brace.
but I was just talking about more of a
What?
biological thing inside that, like, a redundancy,
Yeah.
that you break a bone, but then there's redundancy that lets, it's painful, but you can continue going. If, as long as you've got a splint on it, like, that provides enough strength that you can still move on it like normal. Yeah, I don't know. See, and that puts them firmly on their side.
Yeah.
We finally get, we get off of Murder Planet.
Okay, I agree. Jenkum Pog is right. It's Murder Planet. It's a valid name. Technically, it's not a planet. It is a sentient life. Okay, it's a murder planet.
Wait, let me ask its name. No, it just wants to eat us.
Yeah. Of course, the and so one of the big news besides Wynn's shifting alliance is we finally figure out, oh wait, no, the whole protostar is not just a oh, that's a cool name. It's no, that's like pretty apt.
A big star. I love how they all squeed like, oh, he's so cute.
I guess they were taking after Romulans, just like the other way around.
Yeah.
Because Romulans have the singularity cores. So they just like, we'll make a protostar core. It's like, okay. Which apparently for some reason allows them to move way faster. Don't know exactly how that works, but just like, oh yeah, we can now just go, like, we were barely, barely treading water against this faster ship, and then suddenly gone.
Like, sir, we can't go ridiculous speed. Do it now.
They've gone to plaid.
They've gone to ludicrous speed.
Still got together.
Oh yeah, now
That
I've got.
probably flew over a bunch of people's heads.
Kind of like that airplane going over Dex's.
Yeah.
Perfect timing on that plane, by the way.
Yeah, what was I say? Yeah, I'm just going through Spaceballs. Is just in my head. Which, for a Star Trek reference, Tim Russ, I think, was in that. He was
one of the.
He was one of the guys combing the desert. He had he had the afro.
The other guy was. The other guy combing the desert was. Bob Paulson.
Yeah, he had an afro pick, and we ain't found.
Yeah. No.
We ain't found shit.
Something like that. They're jamming us. We've been raspberried.
They gave us the raspberries. There's only one person who uses raspberries.
Who dare give me a raspberry? Lone Star or something like that. Yeah, it's just that movie is, well, it's a Mel Brooks. It's not infinitely, I guess technically, but it is a very quotable film. Anything by Mel Brooks is generally a fairly quotable film.
Although my favorite line of all of it is, "I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes." That is just the most quotable quote of all time.
Oh.
Especially when you work in retail.
Yeah. But yeah, like, just hit ludicrous speed and they just are gone. We don't know anything more about it, just that for some reason Gwen knew about it, but again, and she had been trained in a lot of tech stuff anyway. So, yeah.
You know, I'm kind of. It would have been funny, like at one part, the planet just like, fuck this, trying to eat them with my vines, and the whole planet just opens up like a giant Pac-Man. It just like I give up. Oh,
Unfortunately, that's not the physiology of the planet.
I know, but apparently it has acid rain to digest its.
It does. Exactly. Its stomach is on the outside. It digests its victims and absorbs them.
Gotta get that calcium, I guess.
Protein.
Hey, it is a plant,
Which
so.
Which makes me wonder, would it just keep getting bigger, or does it actually poop out like matter?
Well, if Resident Alien has taught us anything, everybody poops.
Yes.
It's probably like some, like in a cave or something, like some giant cave that turns out to be its butthole. There's just like a bunch of diamonds, of like just compressed matter of diamonds. It's like I don't think you want to be touched those.
That's why. That's why Neptune is full of diamonds.
Yeah.
It's a murder planet that just like absorbs matter and turns it into diamonds.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you don't want to touch that. Yeah.
It would be more fitting if it were Uranus that did that.
Oh God. Wait. Well, is that I forget. It's a gas planet, right?
Uranus?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, it's one of those planets where it's like gas on the outside, but it has a core. But it's like its gravity could probably make diamonds.
Well, I mean, they're all gas planets after starting with
Jupiter.
Jupiter. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
there's also the which one
starting
is
with starting with Jupiter.
You have the inner rocky planets, the asteroid belt, and then you have the gas giants, and then you have another rocky belt, and that's where Pluto is, and there's lots of little items like that.
Pluto.
Smaller items on on a planetary scale, small. They're big, but they're on a planetary scale, they're small.
Yeah, but Uranus could definitely like make diamonds if.
I mean, if Neptune can make diamonds, so can Uranus.
Yeah. Oh, my Uranus can make lots of diamonds. she got squeeze.
Yeah, Kuiper belt.
Yeah. If your anus is making diamonds, you really need to get more fiber.
Or you just work out a lot.
All workouts.
Buns of steel, buns of diamond.
Okay, let's this is getting into a very shitty conversation, so
Yeah. Well, anyway, at least Halley Planet didn't go Pac-Man at them. I mean, thank God that that planet manages to stay in its own little orbit. Like, could you imagine just like a man-eating planet? Just you look up in the sky one day, it's like, honey, was that always there in the sky? Oh, shit.
Which, another thing, okay, so she's got the broken leg. Okay, I assume they have an EMH.
I'm guessing that's like a medical thing, and I'm assuming they probably do. They just don't know they do.
EMH stands for Emergency Medical Hologram.
That's what the doctor was on Voyager.
Voyager, yeah.
He was a hologram. Well, he was, yeah.
They probably didn't know that they have one.
But
Yeah.
if there is
Janeway,
an EMH on the protostar, which version?
yeah. Oh God, it's the Andy Dick version.
Yeah, because that's the most updated one I think we've seen, which makes me
Yeah.
wonder, like, if, like, the Doctor who originally made the EMH and then made the Andy Dick one, or does it look like, does it look like, what's his face? Does it look like Bashir?
Maybe.
That would be funny. Like they finally
Yeah.
like he comes back to
Would
Bashir
that,
as a
would that mean that the emergency engineering hologram would be
O'Brien.
Miles O'Brien?
And it's just a very it has the Mark 1 has the same problems as the AMH one Mark 1. It's just surly and just like, you idiots.
Food.
Not a medical tricorder, an engineering tricorder. Here.
I like when she says, "Okay, what would the real Janeway do? Clean house."
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's a hologram.
Mm-hmm.
She can touch physical things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, I mean, that's
Okay, what do you think the holodeck is? The holodeck is holograms that are tangible. How would the EMH work then? Like an emergency medical hologram if he couldn't touch anything.
I just figured he'd be like, I just figured it was like a hologram that could like not like touch like the tools, but like kind of I don't want to say mind control them, but kind of. It's like they can like control like the little medical drones like with the wave of their hand and stuff.
Uh-huh.
no, they have
They don't have
They-
medical drones. No.
but
That
You
just screams at
You
everybody.
can tell which of us is the Trekkie. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
tell which of us are Trekkies.
Yeah. Or it just screams at them and says, "Okay, you do this, you do that, you do this." No, fucking idiot! You don't do that. You do this.
To be fair, when he was training Tom Paris, he kind of was like that.
yeah, I mean, he got better as time went on, but yeah, early, like, I wonder if if he got like if he went back and was really proud of his later one, and he might have actually put his face on another one, on a different mark of the thing.
Maybe.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's any number of faces it could have, and guest stars, like, and since it's animation, you could make Bashir look like he did when it was originally thought, like
they did with Janeway.
yeah, they could just, it's just voice acting, so you could make them look whatever you want. And if
you could even have the cat doctor.
oh, from Lower Decks.
That would be a nice although this would probably be later than that, because to give her a point where she would be a training captain or hologram or whatever.
Well, a big enough deal that they would try and copy her, or do they just go like, we'd like to make this one of the is it the name of her species, Tabaxi or something like that?
Yeah,
cat people, like we'd want to make why did you want to make the EMH a cat? Well, people like cats. They find cats soothing, so you make one that looks like her, then people will find her soothing. Her bedside manner is atrocious. So was Mark 1. Yeah, and Mark 1 got relegated to cleaning plasma conduits or whatever it was.
Mining
Mining.
operations. At least some of them were mining. Some of them were cleaning. So yeah.
Yeah. Although, okay, so I just realized ironic about this episode. Yes, the planet was trying to eat them, but it kind of saved them.
Well, if it had
Because
been
if it
just a
had got
normal
it,
planet, they would have landed, took their scans, walked around, and then left.
well, that.
Yeah.
But if the planet hadn't made that fake ship for the diviner, they probably would have gotten caught.
True.
So the planet's a hero,
It didn't
kind of.
give and if it didn't give the diviner that choice, she wouldn't have seen what a douchebag he is, and she would still be on his side.
Yeah.
Planet's stomach saved the day. Go Planet.
That's Madrock's new nickname, Murder Planet.
Thank you. Are you calling me fat? No. It'd be hilarious. It's like a couple seasons later, right? The planet turns good and it joins Starfleet.
Well, it is
Like,
sentient.
Introducing our biggest member yet.
I mean, it doesn't have warp capabilities.
Oh God, could you imagine if it did? Like they just feel like a giant warp engine like on the back of the planet. It's like, I'm ready.
Yeah, but the planet would have to do it.
Yeah.
There are certain rules and regulations for joining Starfleet, which is why an encounter at Farpoint, it was such a big deal. The fact that they had used the frickin' station that was actually a sentient life form.
Yeah. But no more H class planets. No, M class. Is it M or H? I forget.
M stands for Menshara class. Which
Okay,
is,
so no more M class planets.
Yeah.
Oh. Now I wonder if that's the type of sentient being that can reproduce.
Well,
We just find out that one's just a baby.
Oh God.
Like,
You got a Jupiter-size planet.
like, shit.
Maybe it's like a blowfish, and when it gets too irritated, it's just like balloons up.
Sad the murder robot didn't get taken out.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a robot,
True.
so it could just build itself a new one.
Now I think we were thinking of two different murder robots. I was talking about the Diviner's murder robot.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's still a robot.
True. No, I thought you were talking about the fake robot that the planet made. Beep boop. I fire my laser. So, does the ship like have solar power or something?
What do you mean?
Well, because at one point the ship said batteries like at 80%.
Well,
Guess-
it sounds like, well, there was main power was down and secondary power, which was something I did want to talk about. How did they get main power restored that quickly?
Yeah.
It may have been just a thing that Janeway couldn't do, but in like a couple turns of a wrench and a little bit of this and that, and they could get it back online. And once they got back online, then they could get out of there.
Or maybe it's just a because of the way that their batteries work, it has a finite. It doesn't have a finite amount because of the matter antimatter collision, which is what causes most of the power. But because it can only produce a certain amount of power at a time, so it was straining itself to. It's kind of like, you know, how you rest and you're more energized, but if you do too much at once, you get overwhelmed and you get tired.
Yeah, I can see that. Except for the rest part. I rest and I'm still tired.
Yeah. But I mean, in theory.
Yeah. That's in theory for normal people.
Yeah. These humans. Ugh.
Alright.
This body requires 10 hours of sleep. And I have only had 6. Like, must suck to have so much sleep and still look that ugly.
And now it's funny, it's like, okay, so Protostar, pretty big ship. But goddamn did I just realize how big the Diviner ship is.
Oh yeah.
It's like, holy shit.
It's very opening scene of A New Hope.
Yeah.
It's like, gee. And now, I like of course I don't watch much Star Trek, but I learned that you can apparently follow another ship through warp.
Yeah. Yes, and sort of.
Ooh.
You can follow their warp trail because warp engines leave a signature. It's kind of like footprints.
Okay, that makes sense.
And you can follow that through warp as long as it's kind of like the wake of a ship, you know? You can follow the wake of a ship, but at the same time, if they do sudden movements and stuff, it's harder to keep track of them. But still not impossible.
Now, I'm guessing, like, when a ship warps through space, the computer does, like, advanced calculations so it doesn't, like, go through a planet, like, midway through.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the ship itself does calculations, and there are prior calculations done before you jump to warp.
Yeah.
That's why you lay in a course.
Okay.
I don't know of any instance where they actually went to warp and maneuvered in warp.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like before they warp, there's like calculations.
Yeah, because that would be too instantaneous even for a computer.
Oh yeah. Now I wonder if like there's like a certain max different distance you can warp, or it just depends on how much battery you have before it needs to recharge.
I don't think there's a certain distance, but as we've discovered in Next Generation, going to warp does have the occasional tendency to create tears in space-time.
Oh my.
So the higher you warp, the more likely you are to damage the space around you.
Well,
Fun.
To the
the
point
thing is
can't
about
warp.
that is like they said like it's been like it over over a certain speed it causes damage, and but then there's also been sort of, I think somebody I remember hearing that like somewhere along the line they intimated that they'd sort of worked out how to deal with that. Like they worked around that problem and changed it up in such a way that that was no longer a problem.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I just vaguely remember hearing something about that.
Yeah, like I don't remember how they managed to fix that.
I don't think they fixed it within the episode, but it was sort of like a thing in the background.
Mm. Because, well, I assume they managed to somehow fix it because, I mean, there was that entire episode of Voyager where they went to warp 10, which also a no-no.
Yeah, don't do that.
You turn
which
into a giant
also makes you
salamander.
wonder. Okay, they clearly like we don't know what speed they were going because we don't know the max. I don't think we know the max speed of the protostar in standard warp, but like that was fast. It's like, did they find a way around the warp 10 barrier with this thing
Without mutating into well, I mean, Doll already does look mutated, but without turning into giant salamanders. Yeah, that's a thing. Not only did they turn into giant salamanders, but not only did Tom Paris turn into a giant salamander, but he turned Janeway into a giant salamander to mate with her. And then they retconned the entire episode afterwards because they're like, oh my god, what kind of drugs were we on when we wrote this? Which also reminded me how late in the series Tom and B'Elanna actually did get together. Like, when you think back on it, you're like, they're such a great couple. They're such a ship. They've been together since the beginning. No, they hated each other at the beginning.
But anything else to discuss with this episode?
I got nothing.
No.
All right.